Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. I don't know what happened to the intro. Didn't come on like it's supposed to or like it normally does. But ladies and gentlemen, we're in the building. I got Uncle Fulio, I got Andy, I got Big Bubba here. And we're going to break down the New York Knicks draft position and anything that goes along with it, ladies and gentlemen. So let's go ahead and get this thing popping. Andy, what's going on with you, brother? How you feeling?
Yo, what up, Sim? What up, Isaiah? Josh, happy to be on with you guys.
Yeah, Uncle Fulio, it's good, man.
Salute, Sim, Andy, Isaiah, MBK fam, MBK, the chat out there, and Nick Nation. Great to be back, and I just want to say, let's go Mets. 60 seasons of Mets baseball coming up this season. I'm excited. That's why I got the Mets gear on, the Seaver, and right. I'm excited about that. Let's do it.
All right. And Big Bubba, what's up, man?
Hey, what's going on, Sam? What's going on, Andy? What's going on, Josh? Technically, not really a big baseball fan, but my dad's a Mets fan, so let's go Mets. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
No.
Yeah, keep wearing it, because so is Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah. No, man, it was.
if he ends up watching the show, he needs to see. He did.
Nah, for real. Nah, but I feel good, man. Went to the game last night. It was a playoff atmosphere. It was real good. I went with my best friend. He's a Nets fan for some reason. It was real good though. It was real nice. Great seats. The atmosphere was great until the last 3 minutes, and then a lot of Knicks fans just headed out the door. But it was real great though. Had a great time, and let's get it, man. Let's get it.
Yeah. Tough loss last night for the Knicks after being up 21 points to the Brooklyn Nets, and then they crapped the bed in the second half.
Hey, Sim, to be fair,
the Knicks scored 67 points in the first half on great shooting. Second half, they just crapped the bed. What can you say?
And Sim, to be fair, man, I've never seen so many fake Net fans in my life. Lord have mercy. They wasn't talking the whole game. They was quiet, sitting down. They was minding their business. Soon as Kevin Durant hit that shot to get them up one, everybody wanted to get up. Yeah, Brooklyn this, Brooklyn that. I'm like, yo, y'all sit down, man. Y'all was corny. Y'all wasn't talking the whole game. Then they want to start talking. Then they want to do that corny Brooklyn chant.
What you gonna do? That's the way it goes, man. The Knicks shouldn't have gave up the lead. How about that? Knicks shouldn't have gave up the lead. But anyway, they did. They lost. And right now they sit in the 10th, tied for the 10th position in the NBA draft, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to take a look at it, break it down, and talk a little bit about the New York Knicks draft position. You can see it on your screen right now. They're tied with the Washington Wizards for the 10th position. Both teams are 35 and 45. And guess who the New York Knicks play tomorrow? The Washington Wizards. So my question is, Andy, I'm going to start with you. Is it going to be a tank fest tomorrow? Because I paid my good money. I'm taking my nephew to the game. My son is coming to the game. We're going to the game so we can chill, have a good time, enjoy the basketball game, but I don't want to see a slop fest out there. You know what I'm saying? I want to see some good NBA basketball, but is this going to be a slop fest? That's what I want to know.
Sam, I'm not going to lie, bro. I don't know how much you paid, but I think you overpaid.
Oh boy!
Listen, this might be a really bad game. And we saw the Knicks play the Magic, and the Magic were sitting out so many guys that I was like, listen, they're not playing this guy. Cole Anthony was playing like 2 minutes, and he went out. I was like, this is really bad, and the whole game was looking like even worse than Summer League. I'm more exciting for Summer League games than I was versus that Magic game. So right. that was this Nets game. It was cool. I understand because we wanted to spoil the Nets, positioning in the play-ins. So that was more of a thing. But bro, if the Wizards are gonna try to lay down just to hop us on the draft and lottery board, this might go both ways. And if they sit out like KP and even Kuzma, you might be looking at some guys that you coach somewhere around the AAUs.
I mean, yeah. Listen, when you look at the Knicks draft position right now, I mean, they're kind of locked into being 9th, 10th, 11th, or 12th, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Somewhere around there. They're locked into those positions, I believe. Because right now in the lottery, and I'm going to scroll this up just a little bit so you can see what the entire lottery looks like, ladies and gentlemen. Houston right now has the first pick. I don't know if they're locked in yet. You know, they still have 2 games left. I'm assuming, I don't know what their record is with the Orlando Magic, but I'm assuming that they could still give it up to the Orlando Magic. Detroit is in the 3rd position. Oklahoma City's in the 4th position. Indiana's in the 5th position. Portland's in the 6th position. The Sacramento Kings, they're in the 7th position. The Lakers, they're in that 8th position. The Los Angeles Lakers, ladies and gentlemen, the team that has 4 bona fide Hall of Famers. And I don't know if you can hear that thunder behind me, but it's getting ready to storm outside. All right, so hopefully I don't lose any power. You know what I mean? But the Los Angeles Lakers, they're in that 8th spot. It's incredible the way that story.
You know what hurts even more? That's not even their pick.
That's not even their pick. It goes to the New Orleans Pelicans. It's crazy.
Ouch.
Goes to the New Orleans Pelicans. That hurts big time. Big time. Big time. And then you got the San Antonio Spurs in the 9th position. The Washington Wizards and the New York Knicks tied for the 10th position. Right? I mean, there's no way that the Knicks can move up to 8 because they already have, I mean, the Los Angeles Lakers are 31-48. That means they have 3 games left. Even if they lose all 3, they'll have, you know, if they won all 3, I'm sorry, they'd still only have 34 wins. Right? The Knicks already have 35 wins. So you're looking between the Wizards, the Knicks, the San Antonio Spurs, and then you have New Orleans, who they're also 35-44, who are battling for those positions, if you want to say. Battling for those positions. Uncle Fulio, your thoughts on this entire situation? You got 4 teams battling for the 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th spot. You know, what are you doing, Uncle Fulio, if you are the New York Knicks?
Sim, this is very simple and very easy for me. Just like I've said in the past, and I think the team feels the exact same way, they're going to go out and try to win every single ball game that they can. It's a matter of pride and it's a matter of integrity. Okay, I don't think no player in that locker room is saying we're going to lose because we're going to get a higher pick if we keep losing, right? I don't think Tibbs has that mindset. I don't think the organization has that mindset. Not to mention, even if the Knicks do get in 10 or get in 11th, there's no reason why they can't move up, right? There's no reason why the lottery or the odds can't have them picking somewhere, you know, in the 8-9 or 7-8-9 range, right? Even if they don't get that, let's say they finish outside the top 10. Like I've mentioned on numerous occasions, there is opportunities for you to grab talent that a lot of people don't see in the draft outside of the top 10. Look around the NBA right now. Donovan Mitchell, you got Devin Booker, you got Giannis Antetokounmpo. These are 3 of the game's biggest stars, and they were drafted outside the top 10. So I'm not really worried about this as much as a lot of people are, Sim. You know, whether we win the game or we don't win the game, we still have to draft the right guy. The draft is nothing but a crapshoot, and that's what I'm looking forward to the most, not us losing games at the end of the season.
Okay, I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with you 100%, especially since I have some money invested in this particular basketball game. I'm with you 100%, but I'm there anyway. You know what I mean? Anyway, I'm with you. Go ahead, Big Bubba.
I will say this, though. Surprisingly, I somewhat agree with Josh.
Mm-hmm.
And these are the parts I agree with. That, of course, I don't even think a team like the Thunder are telling you that they're going to try to lose games. That's not their job. I wouldn't expect that from the team, to lose games. And the only thing I will say, Joe, that I disagree with is that trading up really doesn't happen in the NBA as much. Like, you know, it's not the NFL, right? Because trading up in the NFL is kind of more common. It's to me that it's a little more easier to trade up in the NFL than it is to trade up in the NBA, because again, some of these top 4 choices, usually top 4, top 5 picks, they usually don't get traded. You know what I'm saying? Usually, for the most part, they usually don't. I think the last time a trade happened to move up was 2017, and that's when the Celtics and the Sixers traded. Yeah, the Celtics traded the number 1 pick, and they moved down to number 3, and that's when they drafted. That's when they drafted Tatum, and the Sixers took Marco Fultz.
Right. Okay.
And clearly,
I didn't say anything about trading up or trading down. By the way, I just said the way the odds work. The Knicks are necessarily going to be locked in.
No, Josh, you just said that if the Knicks could, if they could try to trade up to get up in the top 10. You said that.
Well,
I'm just saying.
Well, I didn't, but okay.
Okay. Well, but let's look at this. If the New York Knicks land, let's say that they land in the 9th spot, right? Because right now they can do no better than the 9th spot. If they land in the 9th spot, they have a 20.3% chance of getting into the top 4, and then a 4.5% chance of getting the number 1 overall pick. If they're in the 10th spot or the 11th spot. So really, it doesn't matter if they're in the 10th or 11th. They have the same odds. 11.7% chance to get into the top 4 or a 2.5% chance to get the number 1 overall pick. And if they end up in the 12th spot, they have a 7.1% chance to get into the top 4 and a 1.5% chance to get the number 1 overall pick. Right? So let's think about tiebreakers here. Right? Let's just assume that they all end up, I don't know, 36 and 46 somehow, some way. Right? With the San Antonio Spurs, how many times did the Knicks win or lose to the Spurs this season?
Did we sweep them?
Did we sweep them?
I think we swept them.
So in this scenario, I believe we did sweep them. In this scenario, it doesn't work for the Knicks, right?
No.
Because if the Knicks and the San Antonio Spurs are tied, then the San Antonio Spurs are going to win that tiebreaker because the Knicks swept them. The Washington Wizards, I believe the series is tied 1-1. Am I right?
Yes.
Right? They beat us the first time and we beat them the second time.
No, I thought we beat them the first time. Didn't we beat them? Didn't they beat us?
They beat us at the Garden, and we beat them in DC.
Because I think KP had a good game against us.
I'm checking right now to see what's going on. Let me see. No.
Kuzma had 30 at the Garden.
So they beat us on December the 23rd, 124 to 117, and then we beat them on March 18th, 100 to 97. All right, so the series is tied. This game right here is going to break the tie.
I'm sorry, Sim. I'm so sorry.
Sorry, what?
You got to lose this game.
But
oh, man.
I mean, with the Washington, well, I guess it does. First of all, if the Knicks end up in the 10th or the 11th spot, you got the same odds, so that doesn't really matter much.
That's not true, Sim. We got the same odds at this point because we have the exact same record.
Oh, okay, yes. I got you.
If we don't finish at the same numbers, the 10th spot is gonna have like 13.9, and the 11th seed is gonna have like 8.5. So that's going to be still a 5% difference.
I got you.
So we got to lose.
I'm tripping. Yeah, you're right. So correct that, ladies and gentlemen. The 10th and the 11th seed do not have the same odds. It's only because the two teams are tied right now, which is giving them the same odds to get into the top 4 or land the number 1 overall pick. So yes, the 10th seed is going to have a better percentage, and then the 11th seed, etc. Right, so obviously it does mean something there. So if the Knicks lose this, then the Washington Wizards, obviously the Knicks will have the loss, and the Washington Wizards will win the tiebreaker, which works in the Knicks' favor. Now, New Orleans. What did we do against New Orleans this season? And this pick goes to Portland, by the way. But
I think
but still the record goes. However, it's still based on the New Orleans Pelicans, right? The record is based on New Orleans, although the pick goes to Portland. It's based on whatever happens with New Orleans. So New Orleans,
we're tied with them. So.
Yeah, we split that because that was the game RJ went off in New Orleans, that first game, and then the second game is when Jose, I forgot his name, Alvarado went off at the Garden.
Oh, Grand Theft Alvarado.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I like that kid a lot too. I like him a lot.
So it's split. So the Knicks win the tiebreaker against San Antonio. It's split with New Orleans, and we're going to see what happens with Washington. It's going to be crazy, but Isaiah, where do you think the Knicks fall? Between 9, 10, 11, and 12. Where are they falling?
They're gonna go to 9. I think. So
You think so?
yeah. So again,
You're trying to talk it up. That's what's happening. You're trying to talk it up. I know what you're doing. You're trying to talk it up.
Hey, Sim, look, Sim. Hey, look, Sim, don't you worry, man. We're gonna start a GoFundMe for you on Friday, because when they lose, listen, I'm Sim. You know what, Sim? Hold on. I'm gonna do something better for you, Sim. I'm gonna pay for your food for the game. I'm gonna do it.
Well, I want you to cash at me right now. Right now, as we speak, I want you to cash at me my food money right now.
Oh, okay, I got you, bro.
What you mean I got you? I'm waiting for that ding to go off. What you mean?
Wait, first of all, I didn't get paid yet. Hold on, let me get paid first. Let me get paid. I got you the ball. Sid, hold on.
Yeah,
Look, Sid, hold on. Look. Everybody, we live right now. We live. Look,
We're live. We live.
I'm gonna pay for Sim's food at the concession stand tomorrow. I guarantee it. You can pin this part.
Yeah, okay. We're gonna find out. We're gonna find out because I will be live tomorrow.
I'm gonna pay
From the game, after the game, whatever. I will be live. So if you do not cash at me, I'm putting you on blast.
So you know what we're gonna do? So you know what we're gonna do? I want you to do it live. Go to the concession stand.
Yeah.
I'm a D.
Okay. Okay.
No, but,
okay. And then I'm gonna call your girlfriend and say he's cheap. Get away. Stay away.
Sam, why do you always do that, man?
What?
So you always do that.
Oh,
man.
Sim, wait for the time that Isaiah gonna want you to send a picture with the prices from the menu, bro. That you ain't cheating. So.
Right. Exactly.
No, but I mean, so Sim, honestly, I do think the Knicks will fall from either 9 or 10. I do really believe that, and I would say this: what Josh said was really right. And this is what I really truly believe is that it's not about us going all the way down to 4, right? It's not just going down to being like a top 5, top 6 pick. There's most of the talent in the NBA right now, besides of course the LeBron Jameses and even Steph Curry is a later pick. It's just these guys were late first round picks or mid first round picks.
Mm-hmm.
Outside the top 5.
Yeah, outside of the top 5. So it's to me, right? And here's the crazy part though, Sim. And I know we're probably gonna talk about a little bit more. The Knicks have been in position to get some of those guys.
Mm-hmm.
I won't fault them for, again, to me personally, I won't fault them for like a Donovan Mitchell. I won't fault them for that. But I will fault them for like a Tyrese Halliburton or a Tyrese Halliburton kind of guy, or a Mikal Bridges, SGA, those kind of guys. That's when I
Devin Booker.
I mean,
I'll be fair. Devin Booker was not supposed to be a top. Well, that's a whole different. I got to get into that.
I mean, look, they've been in position. The key is, you got to have the right staff there, the right scouting to make the right draft pick. I mean, we know that. You know what I mean? You got to be able to. And still, even if you've done everything that you within your power to draft the right person, you still could end up with a bust, or you still could end up with a star out of nowhere. It's really hard to say what's inside of a person. You can see all the skills that you want, and you can have all the analytics and all of these things, but it's hard to determine what's inside of a person. And a lot of times, that's what makes that person, makes a lot of players good or not. What's inside? You know what I mean? What's going on inside the chest? So, but either way, the Knicks are in a position right now. I think, listen, they have to play the Toronto Raptors on Sunday. The Raptors are still going to be fighting for position, right? Oh, actually, no, they probably won't. Because, let me see, the Raptors they have 3 games left. The Bulls have 2 games left. There still is a chance that if the Raptors lose a couple of games, the Bulls could jump up into that 5th spot. Right? And I don't know how much, the Raptors want to stay there, or if they don't care if they move down. Right now, the Raptors would be playing the Philadelphia 76ers in the first round. If they move down to the 6th spot, they'd be playing the Milwaukee Bucks. If you're the Raptors, Andy, who would you rather play? The Bucks or the 76ers? Doesn't matter.
Since if I'm the Raptors, I'm not thinking to aim for a certain team. I'd rather be, playing safer and playing in the 5th seed,
Right.
than trying to aim for a Bucks or a 76ers team. Personally, I think they rather play versus the Bucks.
Mm-hmm.
Than the 76ers.
Right.
I don't have they have the strength and under the hoop to play versus Joel Embiid.
Yeah.
Brook Lopez is a totally different guy, so he stretches the floor. I think they can cover him way better, right? And they got guys that can match up with Giannis, actually.
Okay.
Siakam, Barnes, and those guys. I think they could match up. But that's too big of a gamble, just to lose games, just to aim, because also the Bucks can just win game or lose game and change their position, right? So if I'm in that situation, I'm not, looking to get a loss here or a win here.
You're just trying to win.
Just for the records.
Right. You're just trying to win. So the reason why I asked that question is because the Knicks played the Toronto Raptors on Sunday.
Yeah, the last game.
Right. There's a good chance that they lose that game no matter what. No matter how hard they're trying to win, there's a good chance they lose that game. This Washington Wizards game is the key. Right? Because the Knicks can beat the Wizards, I think, even with the lineup they have out there on the floor. No Julius Randle, no Derrick Rose, all of that. I think they can still beat the Washington Wizards. Will they really go out there? Well, listen, Tom Thibodeau and the players are going to go out there with their mindset on trying to win the basketball game. How does the front office approach it, Josh?
Go out and try to win the basketball game.
I know how you approach it, but do you think this is what the front office is?
No question, Sam.
Okay, I hope so. This is how I want them to think. So I want them to think.
There's no question in my mind that the front office wants to win every single ball game that they can, because we've had, since these guys have been here, we've had a really good record of drafting late in the first round, right? And people can say what they want about Obi. I wanted Obi Toppin here over Tyrese Halliburton. Obviously, that was a mistake that I think they realized. But at the same time, they still drafting well. So I don't think they're really concerned about whether we get this pick or whether we get that pick, whether we get somewhere inside the top 5, top 10, or just outside of it. I think they just want to, be in a position to get that pick. Not to mention, now I'm going to mention, Isaiah, about the possibility of them moving up or trading assets to bring in other, star players. I didn't. I was talking about the odds, the lottery odds.
So to
we
speak. Need a replay button. We need a replay button.
But regardless, I think that's the possibility. So to answer your question quickly about Toronto, I think Toronto would rather want to play Philly right now, because Milwaukee is just a way better team than Philadelphia, in my opinion. And it just came out that Matisse Thybulle is not even eligible to even play in Toronto if a series were to happen, because of, he's just not eligible. But we all know what that's about. So I think they definitely want to see Philadelphia rather than seeing Milwaukee.
Yeah, I will say this too, Josh. Again, right, that. Look, it really, the Knicks scouting has been truly awesome late rounds. I would have to say they're probably the second or first team when it comes to drafting late. To me, it's been the first round in the top 10s that to me have been kind of hit or miss for the Knicks guys. Again, I don't count RJ Barrett. RJ Barrett was just you're gonna make that choice. There was no, you weren't gonna take.
But this front office,
they've only had one.
They've only had one.
Okay, fine. But again, so okay, well, Obi though.
I mean, they've only had one. I mean, yeah. What are you gonna say? They've only had one.
You know what it is? I think you know what it is. I think Knicks fans, we just blend. We can't do that. We can't blend. But to me, it's also been a common thing though with front offices with the Knicks, is that when they get to the top 10, besides RJ Barrett, they get kind of cute with the picks. They just get cute with it and just try to me, they go for a lot of and this is a common thing with the Knicks. They go for a lot of potential in the guy, like a lot. And of course, you're always gonna have potential in every draft pick you pick. That's the purpose of picking him. But I feel like there's a lot of more. He's gonna be really good when it clicks, or he's gonna be really bad if it doesn't click.
Wow.
That's why I think where I'm going with it for the Knicks. Because again, right, you had guys like, I hate to say it, and I hate to be a broken record, but you had a guy like Mikal Bridges that was perfect. That was a 3-and-D guy in college, 20 years old, long arm sprint, shot the three well.
Different
he
regime.
did everything
Different
that the Knicks
regime.
wanted.
Different regime. I'm just gonna keep saying
That was 4 years ago.
different.
That was 4 years
I
ago.
get it, but it's a different regime. We can't blame this regime for those mistakes.
Obi Toppin, though. Which and I love that, and I love that Obi's playing better. I really do. And Obi's playing really great basketball. He really is. It's just you just could have had Tyrese, man. You could have had your point guard of the future.
Okay, so what are you gonna say though? What are you gonna say if Julius Randle's gone? What's up, Tricky? What's up, Tricky?
Hi. Let him finish. I just wanted to hear what he's going to say.
Yeah, 1 second. What are you going to say? What are you going to say if Julius Randle is gone and Obi Toppin is giving us 15-8 next year?
Sim, but so here's the thing, right? It's not about...
No. What are you going to say?
I'm gonna be happy, Sim. You act like I'm. This is not about Obi Toppin. It's about what you could have.
I know, but what I'm saying though is if that happens, then it's gonna be like, oh, he's giving us numbers, he's producing for us. Now he's taking over Randle's position, which is giving us the ability to go find a guard someplace else. So give it some time to see what happens. The front office is still putting in some work. It's still putting in some work. Now, Tricky. What's going on, man? I didn't get that sample in yet. I'm looking for it. I'm going to get that Run DMC sample in pretty soon.
Salute, guys.
Salute.
What up?
Since Sim didn't want to drop a link and Josh, a.k.a. Uncle Fulio, loves Randle, here's my point. Like, if you look at it, we got to trade up in this draft.
Okay.
We have to. And we got to keep our guys young. We got to force Tibbs' hand. Seriously, we got to trade, get rid of Noel, Burks, Kemba, and Randle. Sorry, Josh. Randle's got to go. He's got to go. And I'm keeping Sims, IQ, RJ, Deuce, Cam, Grimes, and Obi. I'm going to keep those 7 players. I'm going to actually keep Fournier. I would take, if Mitch doesn't re-sign, then we're going to have to look into this draft trading up, getting a stretch 5. If Mitch does re-sign, then I'm looking at maybe, a wing type player. I would keep Rose to help IQ at point guard. But I'm telling you right now, this Knicks team, we need to go young. You're looking at 2 to 3 years away from potentially getting a big name star. We're not talking about next year. We're talking about this year. And this next upcoming year, if we keep the same team intact, first off, Tibbs is gone. Second off, they might consider moving RJ as well. I don't want to see that happen. I want this young core kept intact. And Julius Randle and RJ Barrett have suffered the same thing all year long. No point guard. So when it became iso ball here at times, we had no point guard.
Well,
not one.
And that's part of the reason why I think this regime is going to try to get a point guard in here this offseason. See what happens this roster in 2022, 2023. And if it doesn't look good, they don't like it, then they break it up by the trade deadline of 2023. That's what I think is going to happen.
But that's why I feel, Sim, like I would keep, maybe 3 to 5 of the young core and just go through the draft, move up in the draft that you can. Don't move back. I know Sims was our 58th pick.
Right.
And he is performing.
Right.
I would keep Sims. I would keep Sims, IQ, RJ. I think I would let Deuce go. I'm keeping Cam Reddish. I would probably keep Grimes. Obi, I might let go.
So check
but I'm
this out.
definitely getting Randle, Kemba, Burks, and Noel out of here.
I get it.
And then I'm going to get a couple of young players and bring in a star within 2 years.
Okay, but check this out, Tricky, right? Because you're talking about moving up, and all the players that you talked about keeping, as far as like are really, really young players, Grimes, Emmanuel Quickly, Jericho Sims. Jericho Sims was a second-round pick. Quentin Grimes was a late first-round pick. Emmanuel Quickly, a late first-round pick. I mean, they've done a good job finding talent late in the draft. You know, if they have a high draft pick, you know, you're talking 9, 10, 11, 12, that high of a draft pick, who knows what they could do. And maybe who knows, maybe they end up trading back because they think they can find the same value later in the draft, and then they pick up more assets. We're going to figure it out and see. Tricky, I appreciate your time. All right?
Let me say one more point, though.
All right.
I think it's all key into us signing Mitch.
Okay.
I just believe the draft is going to be determined whether we keep Mitch or not. Because I can see the Knicks getting a center, you know, maybe a stretch 5 type center, maybe Baycott, maybe a guy like that. And then, but if we sign Mitch, then you got to go point guard.
Okay.
You have to.
Well, we'll see.
But with the way Tibbs is playing these guys and these young guys, they're still performing for him.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Tricky, I appreciate your time. I got to run, but I'll talk to you soon, man. All right? And I'm going to make sure I get that Run DMC sample in there, too. I want to remind everybody, pinned to the top of your YouTube chat is a link where you can let me know your interest in attending the NBK draft party that is scheduled at this point to be in Atlantic City. All right? It's a Google form, a couple of questions there. Take you 2 or 3 minutes to answer those questions. So please make sure if you are interested and you know you want to go, fill it out so I can get your contact information, so I can send you the literature and all the information when it's ready. All right, so click on that and then come back in here and finish talking about the draft, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to read this super chat. All right, and then we're going to go ahead and get to it. Neville Humphreys, thank you for the super chat. He said, drafting Obi over Halliburton was not a mistake. This is geared towards Big Bubba. He said, Obi is going to turn out to be a much better player than Tyrese Halliburton. We'll see. You know what I mean? We'll see. Obviously, a lot has to do with the team that a player was drafted to, who's on the team at the time, the coaching staff, all of that stuff really does play into, how a player performs once they get drafted to a team. But looking at where the Knicks are, Andy, I'm going to come to you and we'll get to Big Bubba when he comes back. If the Knicks, let's say the Knicks get the 9th pick, right? They lose both of these games. They end up in the 9th position. What do you think they do?
Well, Sim, if we stay after the lottery at the 9th seed, me personally, I think we're going to trade down. Why?
Yeah, why?
Listen, I think this draft class is really only top heavy, and top heavy is like top 3, 4 probably. So later on, we can get the exact same talent from probably 5 till like 15. And we saw the Knicks brass doing these kind of moves, dropping down a couple of positions only to look for the guy that we want. What we got to take into account in most of these mock drafts, the Knicks are looking for a point guard, like many Knicks fans think that we're going to get. And Ty Washington is literally the first point guard on the board. And it doesn't matter if it's at the 10th seed or it's at the 15th seed. because there are only like 2 more point guards in the first round in the mock drafts.
Right.
So we can probably get him at the 9, 10, or even the 15, 16 seed. Meanwhile, some teams might want to give up some kind of an asset for us in the future just to drop those couple of positions. And I think, that's the thing that we saw the Knicks, brass do. And I think that's what's going to be the move. Going back just in one sentence, going back to why I would like it's like in flying quarters, the Knicks to lose the game versus the Wizards is basically because we would have the Wizards would have the tiebreaker over us, right? Even if we win that Raptors game, we're still going to be the same record, but the Wizards are going to be higher than us, so we will have the at least 10 seed. But the Spurs are also in the play-ins, so if they win that one game, they automatically move us up to the 9th seed. And I'm only saying this because my main goal as general manager of the Knicks would be that one loss doesn't hurt us that much. Meanwhile, it gives us over a 20% chance to get a top 4 seed, and not even looking to draft one of those top 4 guys, because I might not want them. But then you can package that pick for a really good player like a Donovan Mitchell, like any other vet out there that's on a disgruntled situation, stuff like that. So that would be my main goal. I'm not looking at these guys as my franchise changers and stuff like that, just rather as a moving piece in a bigger trade, because I don't see the NBA teams looking at our roster and picking anyone else literally than RJ Barrett at the beginning, and probably the second choice would be probably Julius, maybe even asking for picks attached, right? And if you have that top 4 pick, it's going to be way easier to trade that kind of a pick than a 9th seed or a 10th seed pick.
Yeah. When you were looking at, like, you just mentioned, you were just talking about Ty Washington, being somewhere around 10 or 11, excuse me, in the mock drafts. And when you look at Tankathon and you check out their mock draft, you'll see he's the highest rated point guard at 11, right? Going to the Knicks at 11. And there's not another point guard on the board taken, according to Tankathon, until 26.
Yeah.
Kennedy Chandler.
See?
Right, at 26. So I get where you're going, right? If they were intent on taking Ty, it's possible that they could, move down at 12 or 13, right? Knowing that the Portland Trailblazers have point guards in tow. The Charlotte Hornets have point guards in tow. The Atlanta Hawks have point guards in tow, right? OKC as well. So you might be able to drop down to 15, like you're saying. You know what I mean? And still get the player that you want while accumulating more assets. Yeah. That makes sense. Josh,
and we literally saw that happen last draft, right? When we saw the player on the board, and it was like, even maybe bad wording, but 2 stupid picks, dropping down like from 32 to 34, and then pick the guy, while we could just pick him, at the 32 pick, right?
Right.
But we did those kind of moves to get a future second round pick. It's going to be like the 10th one, right, for the next season. But it's going to be another one, and another one. So
yeah.
And you can still have your goal, met, right? So
right. Caller, you're live. Tell me your name and where you're from, please.
This is James Earl Bones, calling from the south side of Chicago.
Oh, what's going on, man? How you feeling?
Feeling all right. All right, just one. The only difference between OB and Halliburton is that Halliburton was able to get a lot of minutes, and OB has not been able to get a lot of minutes, okay? Halliburton, all he's done is been a starting point guard on 2 terrible basketball teams. Will that change in the future? Who knows? But right now, he's not moving the needle either way. What I need Knicks fans to understand is that we have a management issue. We don't have a direct philosophy on what we need to do or where we're going. I need Leon Rose to tell me what his plan is. What is he trying to do? Because if he's trying to make a youth movement, you cannot do that with Coach Tibbs. Love Tibbs, But if you try to make a youth movement, you can't do that with him because he's going to play his veterans. Now, if you want to handcuff Tibbs and force him in the offseason, what I suggest is get rid of Burke, please get rid of Taj Gibson, and force his hand so he has to play the young kids. Or let him go, bring in somebody like Mark Jackson, who's proven he can develop players in the past, and let's go and see what our kids can do. But this whole thing of being in the middle and not knowing which way we're going and saying you want to see what the kids can do, but having a coach that refuses to play the kids is not working for me. Also, I'm going to save y'all some time for the Knicks fans that are listening. In order to trade in the NBA, you must trade contract for contract. Money has to match up. So to trade Julius Randle, you have to find a contract that matches with his. Now, everybody in the NBA knows Knicks fans are down on Julius Randle. Is the team down on him? I don't know. But the fans are. So they're going to give you rock-bottom prices. You're going to get the worst contracts in the world. We don't want that. Let's just be patient, and let's get our management time to focus on a real plan. I want them to just give us a real plan in the offseason, whatever it is. If it's going to be bringing more veterans, fine. If it's going to be let's make a youth movement, fine. But I want to see that permeate throughout the whole organization for it to make sense.
I think the plan, this is just me. I think the plan is, looking at this roster here, I think they're going to go with these guys here. Obviously, there's going to be some small changes. I think they're going to try to get a point guard in or a real floor leader in and then see what happens next season. And by the deadline, if they look and say this ain't going anywhere, then I think they break it down to a full-out youth movement and restart. Like truly restart. That's what I think happens. I think we restarted a couple of years ago and we're still building. But when you look at the way the salary cap is structured, it's structured for the Knicks to have a whole bunch of money in 2023, the summer of 2023. So that's why I think they ride this out until then.
And I'm not mad at that. I would love for them to tell us that. Like you said, you think, I'm thinking, we're all guessing because they don't tell us what they're trying to do or what their plan is. And I wish I could hear what the plan is to feel more confident in. That's why people are like, well, we don't know what they're going to do, and we don't know where they're going or what the direction is, because I just don't know. Because if that's the case, when it gets to that time next time for the trade deadline, and if Tom Thibodeau is still the coach, if Taj Gibson is on that team, he's getting 18 minutes. If Derrick Rose is on that team and they need a starting point guard, he's going to play Derrick Rose like 30, 40 minutes. He's not going to play the kids. So you got to make it make sense. I just need them to be on the same page with their coach.
Okay.
Thank you for your time.
All right. Appreciate you. Go ahead, Josh. I know there's some things in there that you disagreed with.
Yeah. The first and foremost, this whole notion, they need to pick a direction. They already told you what they were going to do. Leon Rose told you. He may not have had a big press conference about it, but when he sat down with Mike Green, he said clearly, we are going to build through the draft, continue to remain competitive, and attempt to win some ball games. And if a big star comes around, we're going to go ahead and swing the bat. He told us this already. Why does he need to reiterate that in front of a big press conference for you to understand that? Look at the way the contracts are structured on the team. Most of these veteran guys are going to be gone at the end of next season. And that's on purpose, right? So I just don't understand this whole thing with this whole, we don't know what direction we're going and we're kind of stuck in the middle. To me, we're not. The Knicks are not nowhere near winning a championship, nowhere near being a contender in any stretch of the imagination. Their payroll, 27th in the NBA, tells you what they're trying to do. Develop the young kids until someone comes available. They can be able to move players around and bring in that player. And I think that's what they're going to continue to do. To Andy's point in regards to them trading down, I think that's a really good point. I think that's possible. But I think there's a possibility they trade the pick altogether to try to land someone else. I think that's possible too. We have enough young guys. Look at our roster. From Cam Reddish to all these guys, we have enough young guys on the team. And I might say bring in another 36-year-old player, but I think there's an opportunity for the Knicks because of all the assets they have to trade the pick altogether. Because where is this guy going to play? Where is he going to play next season? Like, what pick? What are we trying to get? Okay, a point guard? Okay, we got Quickly and we got McBride, who the fans have been screaming about the entire season to play point guard. So, to me, I just think that all the possibilities are there. I think there's a good chance, and I think more than 50% that the Knicks are going to make a trade come draft day.
No, I'm with it. I agree with you, and I think that I think this summer is going to tell a lot about where the Knicks want to go for next year too, right? Depending on how much they pay RJ. Right? If they, in my opinion, if the Knicks extend RJ early for big money, then you know they're rocking with RJ, and there's a good chance that they feel like they just need to add a couple of pieces to, tweak here and there, and then try to let these guys grow. If they have some other ideas, then they may wait until the summer of 2023 to sign RJ, when you have a better idea of how you may break this team down. You know what I'm saying? If you need to. And when I'm saying breaking it down, I don't mean trading RJ. I think that RJ is going to be a long-term piece. But, if you commit to RJ now and then you decide that you're going to break the team down, it just might make it a little bit more difficult and stymie some of your flexibility. But if you wait until the end of the season, right, you just may be a little bit more flexible in the way that you can move money around because you haven't signed them yet. You don't have them signed into the future. Things might just be a little bit more flexible, if you think that you may end up breaking this team down.
Sim, basically what you're saying is Fournier and Randle, those are the two contracts, the two contracts that are over $20 million that they have extended beyond next season. Basically, you're saying that they're going to try to get rid of those guys, and because that's the only thing as far as long-term commitment that the Knicks have in place.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
So that's basically what you're saying.
Right. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It would be. I mean, Derrick Rose is in there as well. There's a team option after next season for Derrick Rose, but basically, you're talking about Evan Fournier and Julius Randle. If you decide by the trade deadline in 2023 this is going nowhere, then you might decide to just break it down. But also, let's say that they make a move, they trade Alec Burks and Nerlens Noel, and they bring in a Jalen Brunson or something like that. He may be on a longer term contract too.
Right, he will be up.
Right, so he may be on a 3-year contract that extends past 2023. So what they do this summer, I think, is going to tell us a lot about what they're thinking in terms of moving forward with this particular team. You know what I'm saying? And how they approach the draft. Ladies and gentlemen. And for those who are just joining us, we've been breaking down the New York Knicks draft position. Okay, and right now, the New York Knicks are tied with the Washington Wizards for the 10th spot, for the 10th and the 11th spot, I guess I should say. Right? Both teams are now 35 and 45. And, of course, they play on Sunday. Right? The loser of that game will remain in the 10th spot. The winner will fall into the 11th seed. Or not the 11th seed, but the 11th position. Okay. Now, the Knicks, they win the tiebreaker. They lose the tiebreaker over the San Antonio Spurs because the Knicks beat the Spurs twice. They tied with the New Orleans Pelicans. All right. And with the Washington Wizards, it'll be, tomorrow night's game will be a tiebreaker. Okay. So there you go. It seems like the Knicks are slotted. Well, not seems like. The Knicks are slotted into the 9th, 10th, 11th, or 12th position in the draft. Okay, as it stands today, in the 9th position, the San Antonio Spurs right now, they have a 20.3% chance of landing in the top 4 and a 4.5% chance of getting the number 1 overall pick. If they're the 10th spot, there's 11.7% chance of getting a top 4 pick and a 2.5% chance of getting the number 1 overall pick. All right, not exactly sure what the 11th spot, what those percentages turn out to be, but the 12th spot right now, there's a 7.1% chance of getting into the top 4 and a 1.5% chance of getting the number 1 overall pick. And once the Knicks find out where they are, and then, of course, you're going to have the lottery that takes place, then there'll be a lot more going on and a lot more talk about what the Knicks and other teams might do to move up, move down, who they might draft, et cetera, et cetera. So it's going to be an interesting one for the New York Knicks because I think what they do in the draft, what they do in the offseason is going to tell you a lot about their direction for the 2022-2023 season. To get to a phone call. Call it, you're live. Tell me your name and where you're from, please.
What's up, man? My name is Eli from Long Island.
Eli, what's going on, brother? How you feeling, man?
I'm good, man. How y'all doing?
Good. Feeling pretty good. What's your thoughts, man? What are you thinking about the draft this year?
All right, man. So as far as the draft, I'm thinking, we're going to be in the 1 to 12 area. This front office has done good finding pieces in the draft, so I don't really worry about that.
Okay. What do you want them to do? Do you want them to, if they, they're going to get between 9 and 12, you want them to stand still where they are? You want them to try to move up, maybe slide down, pick up more assets, trade it? What do you want, or what do you think they're going to do?
So my opinion with this draft, looking at it, based on watching college and stuff, this draft, one thing that we definitely need is a point guard, which we haven't had in years. The only way that happens is moving up, trying to get Ivy, but that's tough because of, again, he's one of the top prospects in the draft, and then there's other people that are like, hey, well, you have Ty Washington. There's a couple of people in the draft, point guards, but the only way that I see us making that draft pick early is if we don't move Randle, because I think that we're going to have to attach possibly a pick to move Randle at this point if we do move him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, listen, Ty Washington right now is, slated to be probably the best point guard in the draft. He's 20 years old, 6'3", 185. I mean, you got Emmanuel quickly. You got Deuce. What happens there? I mean, we're already complaining about playing time for those guys, and then now you got 3 young point guards on the team, right?
All right. So
then what happens?
I kind of put it in the chat. I don't know if anybody's seen it or anything, but it's like it generally concerns me sometimes that like every time we talk about the Knicks and we talk about their future, everybody always mentions the Emmanuel quickly or automatically mentions the Deuce. Now, I'm not saying they're not part of the Knicks' future because they could be, but at the same time, let's be honest here. If we had to make a trade, they're probably the first ones to go. So now with that being said, it's like, why do we always, when we talk about the Knicks for 2022, why is that always the first guys that come up? Why are more people concerned with them getting 20-plus minutes a game rather than us getting a point guard that is established on this team and being an actual contender? Why does it seem like everybody wants to aim for maybe the play-in area where we're sitting right now?
But is Ty Washington established?
A real guy for a contender.
But is Ty Washington established? He's not established.
He's not established. Now, right, I agree with that. That's why I said we probably won't even make that pick. Because we traded if we're going to move somebody, maybe Randle.
No, listen, I'm okay. If you got to package some young guys to get an established point guard that can really run your squad, I'm cool with it. I'm just saying, if you use the draft pick and you do go get a guy like Ty Washington or whatever, now, you got, and you haven't moved IQ, you haven't moved Deuce. You know what I'm saying? And you just picked the guy with your ninth pick.
We drafted somebody in the first round. There is no way that Deuce is going to get that playing time because we're not drafting somebody in a lottery pick to not play them at all.
No, okay.
As a point guard, a position that we need, moving forward. Now, I understand that a lot of people.
What if Deuce outplays him?
We can see Deuce playing. He plays defense. He plays great defense. And we've seen it numerous times. IQ obviously has been here. So going into next year, it'll be his third year. He's not considered the young guy. Well, he is considered a young guy, but he's now a veteran player on this team going into his third year. He's going to get those minutes because he's already getting these minutes. But if we're drafting a point guard in a lottery position, at a position that we do need a point guard, I do believe they're going to get them playing time over a Deuce McBride.
I mean, I would, as long as he's outplaying Deuce McBride, because Obi didn't get the playing time. Right?
But even saying that, we automatically go to if he's outplaying this person, outplaying that person. But how many of us were lobbying for when Kemba was playing bad for Emmanuel quickly to become the starter? When Alec Burks was playing bad for Emmanuel quickly to become the starter. So there is things, of course, we don't see. We could see them. They could be getting killed by these guys in practice.
No.
But
All I'm saying is I'm not going to assume that draft pick is going to automatically get the playing time because Obi didn't. He didn't get a bunch of
Obi
minutes.
was coming behind not an all-star because he wasn't an all-star at the time, but Obi was coming behind a guy that we signed here to be our number one player. We don't have the point guard position solidified right now. We had the power forward position solidified. I'm pretty sure we took that Obi pick, and y'all could agree, we took the Obi pick to get rid of Randle, for somebody to come in and fill in Randle's spot, but we ended up not moving him. We saw how well he played
because he outplayed him.
No way Obi was going to get that playing time.
What I'm saying is because at that point in time, Julius Randle outplayed him. You know, and so that was the question that Josh said. You know, what if Deuce outplays him? So that's all we're saying is that bringing in another point guard, the same height, the same size, a young point guard, it's just asking for more clash. In my opinion, it's just asking for it. I would much rather see them clean up this roster, clean it up so you don't have so much duplication. And if you're going to get a veteran point guard, get you a veteran point guard, that can run your basketball team. If you're going to go young and you're going to rock with the young guys, then you do what you're going to do. But I don't want to have 3 and 4 guys at the same position, guys that, may even deserve to be on the basketball court, but you can't get them all out there. I want the front office to really clean it up, and so that players can have some more definitive roles. You know what I mean? And rock with it. I just want to see him clean it up a little bit so we don't have all these issues. But, my man, I appreciate it. Like your takes. Looking forward to hearing from you again.
Appreciate y'all. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you, man. A big shout out to Carl Ramsey. I want to get to Carl. Thank you for the super chat. He said the front office needs to decide whether they want the team to be pretenders to make the playoffs every year or future contenders. Every team but the New York Knicks has a window. We are neither built to win now nor the future. But
Sim, that doesn't make sense. How are we not built for the future when legitimately 7 of our guys are 23 and younger? That doesn't make sense.
I think we're building for the future. We may not be built to win right now or win a championship, but I think we're building for the future. And, it takes collecting. I don't want to say collecting talent, but developing your young talent, trying to get them to play at a competitive level, and then you decide who you want to keep and how you're going to develop your team, who has to go out, who's going to help you to bring in star players if that's what you're looking for. I'm going to tell you what, every single year, I'm constantly hearing about, star. And obviously it doesn't happen, right? So, let's just break down and wait till 2023 or 2024. Let's just break down and wait until 2025. You know what I'm saying? And every 2 years, it's that same exact story. You know what I'm saying? And we never get a chance to let some guys kind of flourish a little bit and see if they will flourish. Now, obviously, if a deal comes, you got to make that deal. If a slam dunk deal comes, you got to do it. You're going to get a guy that you know is going to take you from just missing the play-in to the 6th seed, you probably got to do it. But to just hang around the bottom of the draft, I think you end up being there forever. Really. There's a couple of teams that get out of that spot, but for the most part, man, you end up being there forever. There's multiple ways to build, and it's not just hanging around the bottom of the draft. And I think you got to use all ways. Signing free agents, making good draft picks, developing your players, using the G League, making good trades. All of it has to come into play. That's why I think all of it is on the table. You know what I'm saying? All of it. Mark, what's going on, man?
Mark.
Got to unmute yourself, bro.
You hear me now?
Yeah. What's going on with
Loud
you?
and clear.
Okay, so we are in a dilemma. So let me ask you, Randall, if you have the ability to move him, would you move him? Because I feel like he's here. I feel like they're not gonna treat him.
Hey, Mark, do me a favor. See if you can go out and come back in because he's breaking up pretty bad. All right? Breaking up pretty bad. So I didn't get everything that he was getting ready to say, but It was breaking up bad. Let me get to another phone call here. Caller, you're live. Tell me your name and where you're from, please.
Oh, wow. I'm live. My name is Gamal, man. I'm the biggest Knicks fan in New York City. What's going on, brother? How are you? This is nothing but Knicks, right?
This is nothing but Knicks.
Holy moly. I watch you guys all the time, dude. Holy moly. You know, I was just sitting here and I was just thinking about the Knicks and I just said, let me dial this number.
Okay.
Let me see what's going on. It's my first time on the show. Am I live?
You're live, man. You're live. Everybody can hear you, man. Everybody can hear you. So we appreciate
What's going
you,
on, panel? I watch all you guys at 2 o'clock in the morning, all you guys. I watch every single one of you guys all the time. You guys crack me up.
Just know I'm the biggest one in the group. All right, man. Just know I'm the biggest one.
I know about all you do. I think you are. Is this the Verizon guy? I don't know where you work. But you got the guy with the hoodie, madman in the left, bottom left. You got, I think he's the left guy. I think at the bottom he's from Croatia or something. And top right hand corner. You know, I never used to like you, the top right hand corner. You used to get on my nerves.
Nobody likes y'all. Nobody likes y'all.
It's crazy sometimes. I remember one time you was talking about Trade Barrett and some crazy shit. I was like, what's wrong with this guy? All right.
You really listen. Rising guy.
Let's talk about this. This guy just called in. I don't know what the situation is, but the guy called in and said, let's get Ty Washington. I don't understand that. That was dumb. Listen, I know we sit at the 11th, but the bottom line is I'm not taking a point guard down that low. I mean, anybody agree? I mean, you got Deuce. You got Quickly. Where you getting to draft another point guard? I could understand if he was like a John Morant or we high in the draft, you take that guy. If he's like Derrick Rose, explosive, that type of guy, you take that point guard. If he's a difference maker. Mm-hmm. None of these point guards. Does anybody seem like a difference maker? I mean, I watched the Final Four. I like that kid Love from North Carolina, but to me, he's a flash in the pan. Who else? The guy with the other kid from Arizona. I think, what is his name? Benedict?
Benedict.
I don't know if that's his name. Benedict? I like Benedict, but none of these guys are traditional, like, none of these guys are going to make the team better. And you need a point guard to unlock Obi, and you need a point guard to unlock Mitch. We all know that. I can't stand Randle right now. I want to get rid of him. I was personally saying to some of my friends, I mean, I was against the wall on it, but I thought we could have traded for Ben Simmons and sat him. I just thought it would have been an interesting thing to have Ben Simmons on that team just to pass the ball to other kids. Because you see, we play all right when we move the ball. We don't play that bad. Y'all think we play bad when we move the ball?
No, I mean, most teams, you move the basketball, you probably play it, you probably play decent. The thing is, with or without Randle, I mean, you seen it last night. They end up falling into a funk, where they're unable to score. You know what I mean? And that's where you need that guy that can, when you get into that. Because every game,
we need scoring.
Listen, every game and every team is going to fall into a point of the game where it's like, all right, we're not getting what we want. The defense either stepped up for the opposing team or whatever. You know what I mean? So now you need that guy who can make decisions for you out there on the floor.
Hey, Sam, brother, what's your name, brother? What's your name, by the way? I'm sorry.
My name is Gamal, man. I'm from Brooklyn.
Gamal. Nice to meet you, Gamal. So I would have to disagree with you one thing, right? Because what you said. So getting a point guard doesn't matter. So a point guard, a top five.
We need a point guard. We need a point guard, but not a rookie point guard with that pick.
No, I understand. We don't know that because again, right? You had a guy like Tyrese Halliburton. You got a guy like SGA. SGA was the 13th pick in the draft a couple years ago. And then you got guys like Tyrese Halliburton. He was 10? SGA was 10?
Well, whatever. Go ahead.
Yeah. No. But the point is I'm trying to say is that you have guys like Tyrese. You got guys like Donovan Mitchell. You got guys like SGA. You got guys like, again, these guys were like 10 to, they were in the 10 to 15 range. So it's not, to me, it's not about, of course the Ja Morants and the D Rose, those guys go number one, number two. That happens every year. But what I'm saying,
I feel like that's the type of guy we need at point.
No, not. I mean, not necessarily, because again, right? When you got it kind of goes to the point about what Simmons saying and what
You don't think that's
Josh
where the
saying.
league is at?
No, well, it's not all about. Well, again, right? It's not all about explosive guards, because you see the guards that go into the NBA finals, they're not explosive guards. A lot of explosive guards don't make it to the finals. They play good during the regular season, of course, but they're not a lot of explosive guards.
I'm not talking about the guy that's going to jump over your head. I understand exactly where you're coming from, but we already got Deuce, and then we got Quickly. Like, I don't understand. Like, listen, Tibbs was not going nowhere.
No, of course. But no, what I'm saying is that, look, what Simmons saying before is that you got to remove some of the extra fat on the team with a lot of the glut that we have with these.
I agree 100% with him. We need to clean up this glut. Get him out of here. Fournier, bye. Fournier, bye. I like what Fournier been doing, but he got to go.
No, but I'm saying though is that when you have guys, when you have a real point guard, right? A guy that, because again, I'm not saying Quickly's good. Quickly's been has a great season so far, but is he really a point guard?
He's getting better.
But do you really? But to me, it's more about, do you want a guy that's that there's certain things you can't teach a point guard, right? Because I think
you gotta spit it out. Big dog. What you trying to ask him?
Quickly,
What you trying to ask him?
What I was trying to say was that we got guys like Quickly that are learning to be point guards, but I want a guy that's already gonna be a point guard. There's a difference from learning to be a point guard and somebody that's naturally a point guard on the team. There's a big difference in that.
I feel you. That Chris Paul type of player, that Isaiah Thomas type of player, that pass first point guard that could actually score. I get what you're saying, but man, I don't see that unless you're gonna transform one of these guys at from two guard to a point guard, and then at that same time, that's the same player that you have in Deuce and you have in Quickly. And I think you give Quickly another summer, the way he works hard with Toppin, I think you're going to look at a different Quickly when he comes again, going through that summer league and going again. You see him by time next year. I think he's going to be all right. I think you guys are sleeping on Quick. I think Quick could be all right. Don't get me wrong. He's not a point guard. I want to make a trade with Randle. If I could get Randle, Fournier, and what's his name, the other vet. He's slipping my mind right now. Alex. If I can get them three out of here in a package with a pick for a point guard, I'm doing it all day.
All right. Hey, my man, I appreciate your time. Thank you for your call.
Thanks, Jamal. Appreciate you.
Next time we're going
to... I'm going to call back again, man. That's why I like talking to you guys. I watch you guys all the time. This is hilarious. I love it.
Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate it. Next time we're going to make sure Big Bubba can spit it out. You know what I mean? Get out what he's trying to say, without cutting himself off. You know what I mean? Who's Mark? What's up, man?
What's going on, Sim? So let me get straight to the point. So the Knicks are in a dilemma because it's a couple of things that this team needs to address is, what are we doing with Derrick Rose, right? That's one.
Mm-hmm.
Part of me, I want to keep Fournier for another year. I like him. I'm starting to like him if we play the way we play, because if we move the ball, he can be effective at times, but I like him. I don't have no more beef with him. My thing is with you, right? Where are you at with Randle now? Because I feel like he's going to stay. I don't feel like he's going to get traded. I feel like he's going to stay. But I also have a place where we can make it possible for him to go to, where it's like open season for him.
For me,
yeah,
Randle got to get his attitude together.
Okay.
Right? That's just big for me, because I can deal with a player having a down year, not shooting well, having to adjust their game, etc., whatever, having to figure out how to do it. But if you're going to continuously have antics, I can't deal with that. So, like I said before, the front office, they got to sit down and have a real conversation about what's it going to take to not have a repeat of last season. And I'm not just talking about stats. I'm talking about the antics. What is it going to take to not have that repeat? Because, that's not what our culture is about. That's not what we're trying to deal with. You know what I mean? So, and after having that conversation, that's where I make my decision.
So, so the opportunity, if the deal was on the table, would you see Portland is the best team where we could trade Randle for, because one, he's still a good player. And if you look at Portland roster, you're asking yourself, what are they gonna do to add to Damian Lillard? Because I think that's what they're looking to do. So what I would do, I would call them. This is what I'm proposing. I'm proposing you give me the 6th pick in the draft, because I don't think that's going to be any prize for them, because they're looking to surround Damian Lillard with players that can play now with him.
Okay.
Because if they was going to get rid of Damian Lillard, they would have got rid of him. I think he's there to stay. So you trade Randle there, you take back Eric Bledsoe and Wilson and Winslow and their 6th pick, and you give them Randle, and you attach 2 second-round picks. That's one thing I'm looking at.
So you think? Hold up. Let me just back up for 1 second. So you think that they'll give us the 6th pick, Eric Bledsoe, Justice Winslow, and they're not going to want the 10th or 11th pick back in return?
No, because one thing, right, with Eric Bledsoe, they don't even play him. His contract, he got 1 more year left on this contract. Him and Winslow, that's why I looked at that deal. It will come right off next year. It will come off right off next year. And we get the 6th pick. Because they're not in the development stage when you really look at it, if they're going to keep Lillard. They're looking to surround him. So you're going to get a player he's established in the league now. He's going to give you 20 to 25. And the type of play he could play with Lillard at the 4 spot, because they don't have anybody at 4. If you look at Portland's roster, they're literally depleted. It's nothing but young players there.
I know.
Nothing but young players there. So that's one suggestion. And what are you going to do with the 6th pick in this draft? After the 4th pick, the draft is it's iffy. So I'm looking at that could be an opportunity for us if that's a possibility to get Randle off. I don't think he's going to go anywhere, but that's something I'm suggesting. And then I'm looking at the free agent pool. If we're looking for a point guard, I'm looking to bring in Rubio. I would look to bring in Rubio, because next year is still going to be like another year of figuring it out, regardless of the situation. Regardless of where we at now, we're figuring it out. So I'm looking at Rubio to bring in, and I would also bring in Derek Favors, another solid big that could back us up. That could back us up at 4. Because again, we have to figure out, what are we going to do with this team? Rose is the dilemma now. Are we going to keep him, or are we going to? I think Tibbs love him. I think he's going to stay.
He ain't going nowhere.
Alec Burks has to go, Sim. He has to go, because I can't watch this point guard.
But hold up. But wait a minute though.
What?
Do you think if the Knicks get a point guard, he's not going to be running Alec Burks at the point guard spot?
No, but right? he has to go to make room for the other younger guys.
Well, okay, I agree. He would have to go to make room.
So we got Grimes. We got Grimes and Cam Reddish coming back. So if we have those 2 guards, and Grimes, he proved himself to me for what he can do. I look at him as a Culver, JJ Redick type of what do you call that? Specialist. So I'm looking at specialist. Yeah, I'm looking for him to get rotation minutes next year off the bat. Ain't no figuring it out. I want him in the rotation. So we get rid of Burks. We remove Burks. If we go get Rubio, we start Rubio. Because one thing with Rubio, he know how to command a team. He's effective. He attacks, and he gets into the paint. That's something Quickly doesn't do. So we can still have Quickly come off the bench to do what he do, and Rose to come off his bench at time to time. Because Rose can't play. He's not effective back-to-back games. So we could use Rose in certain situations. Like, he's a situational guard to me at this point. So that's how I'm looking at what the Knicks could do. Now, the mixed situations in.
Hello.
Paying him? Personally, no. Because last night, or even the games, there's something that Sims do that I like, is that he makes sure you think about coming into the paint. He gives a resistance that I like from a big man. He rebounds well. He boxes out well. He moves his feet well. He looks to score. Sometimes he don't even look to pass out.
I don't know about that.
What? Who?
Sims does not look to score. Sims is still trying to find that part of his game. He does not look to score. I agree with you about the rest of the stuff, but not looking to score.
There were some plays last night where he set himself up to tell the guard, give me the ball. There was plays like that last night that I saw from him. There's certain things that I like from him. He's bigger than Mitch, and he's more healthy than Mitch. I'm not looking to pay Mitch $55 million. He can go elsewhere. I'm bringing Simpson right away. Like I said from the beginning, you play him in the fire because there's certain things that he does, but he brings a resistance. He brings a resistance to the forefront that we need desperately. And he's big, and he could battle with the big guys. He's going to have to learn how to stay out of foul trouble, but he's just getting minutes. So that's something he's going to have to learn. But I feel that this is what we need to do going into next season.
Okay.
But I will say, real quick, and I will say this though, Mark. So I agree with you with everything pretty much. Only thing, because I do agree with you, we need to get rid of Derrick Rose. Me personally, I don't want Derrick Rose on the team. I think we should trade him right now because I feel like we can get a decent amount of picks, get a decent pick for him. Only thing I'll probably back off, I don't know if Portland's going to give us that 6th round. I don't know about that. Maybe they will. I don't know. But I will say that the only thing with Jericho Simmons that, look, he's 6'9". That's the only thing. Because last night, there was a killer rebound, and he was on the floor. He couldn't get it. And
well, that's one rebound out of the game. And he's been
no. But I'm saying though, but there's going to be situations like that though, Mark, where you need a guy like Mitch at 7'1" that can at least get the offensive rebound, that can also get the defensive rebound. Again, it's tough right now with Mitch. I'm up in the air with paying him.
He's too hurt for me, bro. It's too hurt for me.
Okay, well, we can get to that. We got a lot of time to get to Mitch.
But that's how I feel about what we should do if we're looking. That's what I feel like we should do.
Okay,
if they're going to trade Randle.
All right. So in Mark's scenario, and Cole, I'm getting to you in just a second. In Mark's scenario, the Knicks would actually have the 6th pick and the 10th pick.
There you go.
They would have been traded Julius Randle to Portland. I don't know. I think Portland would probably want that 10th or 11th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th pick. I think Portland would probably want that pick back.
I'll give him a future first or that Dallas future first. I don't care.
Yeah.
But if I can go down again and get rid of Randle to really go forefront of what we're trying to do, because last night it's like the way the Knicks been playing, and then with the Obi thing, I don't know what Isaiah, I don't know. I don't understand this Obi thing with y'all guys, but that boy could play basketball to me. I don't care. He could play basketball. People talk about his deficiencies. Oh well, he does a lot more.
We say that now. We say about his deficiencies now. And then when he's the starter next year, everyone's going to be complaining about his deficiencies.
I don't want him
That's all I'm saying.
I don't know.
I don't know where you were going with that. With what you was just saying. Well, let me get to the caller. Caller, you're live. Tell me your name and where you're from, please.
Hey guys, how you doing? This is Super from Brooklyn.
What's going on with you, bro?
I'm good, bro. Good, bro. Just wanted to touch base real quick. I called for one thing, but you guys were just talking about Sims and how he's been stepping up. I actually agree. It feels up to me Mitchell Robinson will be gone. I'm not going to pay him that much money. I was looking at, they was talking about sending him and do a sign and trade to Detroit. I was doing like 2 second rounds, and then I would get like a protected first from Detroit, and then like that would be it, But one thing that I did want to talk about is what do you guys think about a trade, Julius Randle, IQ, and like 2 first rounds for Donovan Mitchell?
I don't think Utah's going for that. I mean, if Utah's going to go for that, I'd do it all day long.
But wait, what was it again?
Would you throw in Obi Toppin as a sweetener?
Whew. Yeah.
So wait,
yeah.
What was it again? It was Julius Randle, 2 first-round picks?
Julius Randle,
2 first-round picks, IQ, and then you may have to throw in Toppin.
They're not doing that.
The Jazz might.
Utah or the Knicks?
What?
The Jazz not going to do that.
Why not?
What?
Why not?
Donovan Mitchell?
No, they ain't happening.
But guess what? If Donovan Mitchell wants out anyway.
Exactly.
But so here's the y'all see the thing though, right? And I'm not saying I'm saying to the caller, he's under contract.
They got the leverage. Utah got the leverage.
He can cry all he want. They don't have to trade him.
They don't. But you know what? Ben Simmons, he cried.
Yeah.
He cried and he got up out of there, right? It took a little while, but he got up out of there.
And that joker had 4 years left.
Yeah, he cried and he got up out.
The difference between that is that they got Harden.
No, I know. I'm just saying what Isaiah said. He said, Utah would be under no obligation to trade Donovan Mitchell, but you see what happened with Ben.
But here's another thing, right? That I would say it might be a little different from that situation. Is Utah knows they ain't getting no free agent, so they could be like, we don't care about that reputation about getting free agent. We don't get none anyway. He gonna stay here.
Isaiah, the first thing I think Donovan Mitchell, if he's an axe, I think Utah will call Miami and do a swap with Tyler Hero. That's what I could see happening before the Knicks. I could see that.
But here's the thing, though, because Utah needs draft picks. Because, like Bro said, they're not getting any free agents. It's slow.
But, bro, did you see what Tyler Hero's putting up? He's putting up nearly 22 points a game.
Mark, the Miami option is possible too, but let's not act like the New York option, that trade proposal is not possible. I think Utah will seriously consider that if you think about Mitchell not wanting to be there. I think they would definitely have to look at that and say,
they would look at it.
It's more intriguing than Miami.
They will look at it, but if I'm an owner and if I'm trading an established superstar and a coming player for another guy that could enter an all-star type career, I'm going to go for that younger player and with that upside before I will go with the picks. That's just me personally. I would take.
Now listen, let's not forget that Julius Randle, he made the All-Star team last year. Now mind you, he had a bad season this year. I get it, but that's more I think of like his scenery and surroundings. He needs to be in a place where people aren't really looking at him, where he's not that number 2 option, or like they don't care if he messes up from time to time because he's like a real emotional dude. You know what I'm saying?
The thing is,
he could be in a place where he could just ball out and just mind his business. He's gonna be Gucci.
Yeah, but see, the
if
thing
you
is,
Utah, would you trade for Randle or Hero? Being honest,
it wasn't just Randle. It wasn't just Randle.
For Randle, IQ, and Obi plus the 2 picks because Tyler Hero and who?
Right. It wasn't just Randle that he said. He said Randle, IQ, Obi, and 2 picks. So that
I think Utah would take that because that's a load, and if we throwing picks at them, which our picks are very viable. So yeah, I think Utah would come at us first if we're giving up the whole load because we have to give up the load.
Yeah, definitely.
You got to give up a lot. You know what I mean?
But that's not really a lot when you think about it. I think in that one situation, the one that I'm really crying over is IQ because he's been killing. Like he's shooting like 40% from 3 right now.
You won't miss IQ after Donovan Mitchell. You won't even think about IQ.
The thing there is you giving it. Well, I guess the Knicks would still have pieces, right? So you'd have Donovan Mitchell, you'd have RJ, you'd have Cam Reddish still, Grimes. Deuce,
correct.
Whatever,
We would not miss quickly if Donovan Mitchell was on his team. Point blank.
Not at all.
We would not miss him. We won't even watch Utah to watch
maybe
him.
Defensively, but that's it.
Yeah.
Maybe defensively because Donovan Mitchell is small.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens after this year's playoffs and how Donovan Mitchell is feeling. But my man, I appreciate the time. Thank you for your call.
Thank you, bros. Appreciate it, man.
To be honest with you, I think one trade that we're not talking about that makes sense to me, and I think would actually be really reasonable this year is a sign and trade Jalen Brunson for Julius Randle to Dallas.
Well, we brought that up, a couple of streams ago, but you don't be hanging over here with us like that. So you wouldn't know.
Who's snitching? Where I be at? Where I be at?
We definitely.
Where I be at?
We definitely talked about that.
I be here.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
Wow, that's crazy, bro.
I gotta see Brunson get traded. I gotta see Brunson. I don't think Brunson's leaving Dallas. Mark,
the only reason why I say Mark, and I'm crazy, I think he is leaving Dallas, Mark, because when they traded for Spencer Dinwiddie, I think that was kind of to me that was the indication that okay, they got their point guard that can play around, they got their point guard wing that can play with Luka Doncic, that can handle the ball, that can that can relieve some stress off of Luka for handling the ball and setting up teammates rather than
himself. But if you look at Dallas, what they're doing. Either way, they have a guard on it that could be a second ball handler to him. That's what that was the goal for him. So always have a second ball handler, so he won't be such high usage, even though he is. But you still have another guard to make another decision for him. So I gotta see with Dallas first. I don't think they're gonna move Brunson. I just don't think.
Let me get to this phone call. Let me get to this phone call here. Before I get to the phone call, I want to remind you guys that we got the NBK draft party coming up June 23rd. That's the day of the draft, June 23rd. So if you're interested, please put your name on the list. There's a link at the top of the YouTube chat, and I just put the link in the chat once again. All right, so you can catch it there. So ladies and gentlemen, please make sure that you, if you're interested, Put your name on the list so I can get in contact with you when those tickets are ready. Of course, those who are members, I'm going to get in contact with them first. Then I'm going to get in contact with the people that's on this list, and then we'll get it out to everybody else. So get your name on the list, ladies and gentlemen. Call your lot, man. Tell me your name, where you're from.
Tim, what's good? It's D from North Carolina.
What's up, D? How you feeling, man?
Feeling good. How about you guys?
I'm good.
Well, I feel that, not for nothing, like Mark was saying, he has to go to like Portland, or they were saying Utah. He has to go to the West Coast. And the only reason I'm gonna say this is because if he gets traded to like Orlando or Charlotte or somewhere, he's gonna wind up in a nut house because there's too many New Yorkers down there, and they're gonna run him in the mill at every game. So, he thinks it's bad now. Imagine when he's on the other team and he's still getting it from the New Yorkers. So it's going to have to be a West Coast team. I think that's the only way, because I don't think any East Coast team is going to deal with it, because they know that. Like Orlando, when we were playing Orlando, there was more Knicks fans at the Magic game than there was Orlando Magic fans.
Yeah, you're right. I know. You're right about that.
So, that's going to put them out of the question. They're going to be like, no, we're not going to deal with that nonsense down here.
Right.
And right now, at this point, we're just going to have to get what we can for him.
We'll see how that plays out. It's hard to tell. I think the Knicks are going to look at all options during the offseason. A place like Utah, I think, is a really good spot for him.
Yep, and Portland, because they're small markets.
Both of them, yeah.
And he could grow there. It's not going to be as bad as it is anywhere else. I think Utah, like you said, Portland, those would be perfect spots for him.
Yeah, they would be. Both of them would be. They would be good spots for him, cool, low-key places. He can play, make his mistakes, grow, do whatever's going to happen. Those would be emotionally, mentally, I think those would be good spots for him, without a doubt. What's your thoughts about the Knicks draft position or possible draft position? What do you think the Knicks are going to do tomorrow night against Washington? Remember, both teams are tied at 35 and 45. The Wizards are in the 10th position. The Knicks are tied with them in that 10th position. The winner of the game falls to the 11th position. The loser of the game stays at the 10th position. All right. So what do you think is going to happen tomorrow night?
For 10th and 11th, I don't think they're going to do too much. I think that Tibbs is just going to probably play the young kids and let it ride out. And because Tibbs he's not going to want to lose on purpose. And for one spot, I could understand if you were talking about going from 10th to 5th. But for one spot, it really won't make a difference. At the end of the day, I think Mark was saying it earlier about how from 10 to 15, look at all the people that were drafted. Shoot, Giannis was drafted at 13th. So,
something like that.
we have to look at it like that. And just, for one position, I would say, just tell the kids, go out there and do your best. Whatever happens, happens.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Sam, remember that year when the Lakers went from 11 to 4? Anything's possible.
Right.
Okay.
You're right.
I will never forget that. They went from 11 to 4.
Hey, Mark, I'm gonna be honest with you, Mark. I ain't gonna lie to you. This is my 10 hat. That was very convenient that they got the 4th pick.
4, and then we go 3rd when we should have been 1.
Yeah.
Get out of here, man. Anything's possible.
Especially that's the year they
remember when
let the caller finish.
Cleveland got back to back.
Go ahead, my man. What'd you say?
Yeah. No, I'm saying, remember when Cleveland got the back-to-back first pick when they weren't even supposed to get it, and Minnesota did the same thing.
Right.
So, we just have to play it out, let it see. And as far as quickly, they were saying, remember he played 1 year college. They were putting him to Tyrese Halliburton, but Halliburton played a couple years of college before he came in. So right now, quickly is around the same place in his development than Halliburton was when he came into the league.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well,
I like Quickly. I think he's good. I don't think he's our future point guard of the year, for us, but I do think that they need to give him time because, like I said, he's just getting to scratch the surface of where he could go.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see, man. Hey, I appreciate your time. Appreciate your call. All right. What you said your name was again? D?
D, yeah.
D? All right, nice. Nice talking to you, D.
And it's funny, I had to agree with Mark for the first time because me and him went back and forth about Fournier and DeRozan back on.
And who was right?
Man.
And who was right? Just say it. Say who was right. Because I'm coming after everybody.
Hey, look. Let me ask you a question real quick, Mark, and be honest.
Yes.
As good as DeRozan's doing, do you think that he would have played like that with Randle? Because think about this too. DeRozan, he's in a good spot, but with all the nonsense going around, DeRozan's mindset, I don't think he would have been doing as good as he is in Chicago right now with all this nonsense with Randle, because it would have messed with his mind.
He's always been consistent to what he's doing. And the thing is, right, you would think that Levine would be the forefront. It's more DeRozan. So I think he would have, if he's playing like this, he would have, there's no, Randle gave the ball up to Marcus Morris. Come on. He did that.
But
so
I think not for nothing. I think, one, we weren't going to get DeRozan for what we got Fournier. But I think Fournier, if we get the right leader on this team and the right, number one, Fournier is going to be a great piece for us, especially at what the contract that we signed him.
Fournier can stay. He can stay for the meantime. But you know what's crazy, Sam? That DeRozan deal, it has incentives to get to $85 million for 3 years.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
So it's a great deal for 25, 28, top 10 MVP. Come on. Crazy.
It's a good deal. It's a good deal. Caller, D, I appreciate your time, man. Thank you.
I appreciate it, Sam.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Have a good one, bro.
He wasn't no MVP at that time when they signed him. You know what I mean?
Oh, no.
He
wasn't but he was more consistent than Evan Fournier by far.
He was. But he wasn't an MVP candidate. Chicago right now isn't doing too well though. They're struggling.
They're not doing too well.
They're struggling. You know what I mean? And
at least they're in the playoffs.
They're in the playoffs. They're in that 6th spot. It looks like they should stay in that 6th spot, right? They have. Let me see. They're 45-35 with 2 games left. The Cleveland Cavaliers are 43-37 with 2 games left. I don't know what their tiebreakers look like between the two. You know what I mean? But they've lost 3 in a row. Cleveland Cavaliers have lost 2 in a row. But ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining us, we've been talking not entirely just about the draft, but kind of going all over the place, talking about trades, using the draft picks, et cetera, et cetera. But right now, the New York Knicks, they're tied with the Washington Wizards for the 10th position in the draft. And, of course, they play the Washington Wizards tomorrow night. So the loser, right, the loser of that team, of that game, not the loser of the team, the loser of that game stays in the 10th position. The winner moves down to the 11th position. It's weird to talk about it like this, right? So I got to think about what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Because it's weird to talk about, the loser is going to go a little bit higher and then the winner is going to drop lower, but that's the case. You know what I mean? Anyway, the Knicks are slotted between the 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th picks, depending on what happens between tomorrow night and Sunday versus the Toronto Raptors. The Knicks win.
That's the lowest we could fall?
That's the lowest we can fall is 12th.
What's the highest we could fall? I mean, my bad, the highest.
The highest that we can get is 9th.
Listen, the highest the better, because when I see Lakers go from 11 to 4, I think there's chances. I just want to have a chance. I just want to have a chance at something.
Yeah, there's a chance. The 9th. Right now, the team that's in the 9th position has a 20.3% chance of getting into the top 4 and a 4.5% chance of getting the number 1 overall pick. In the 10th position, they have 11.7% chance of getting into the top 4 and a 2.5% chance of getting the number 1 overall pick. Not sure what the 11th position yields yet, because the Knicks and the Wizards are tied, so they both have the same percentages right now. In the 12th position, you have a 7.1% chance of getting into the top 4 and a 1.5% chance of getting the number 1 overall pick. So,
So, Sim, imagine if we went to the 4th spot. If we just dropped to the 4th spot, we could get our point guard, Javen Ivey. I think he's gonna go 4th. So Imagine, I just want to have a chance at, saying that we could have been there instead of not saying we couldn't have been there.
Well,
Yeah, but also too, and I will say this too. I mean, again, right, Mark, we have been in prime position to get some great players on the Knicks. As far as the drafting is gone, and I know, like Sim said, we only picked Obi, but again, you could have had Tyrese and you could have had somebody else.
Yeah, let me ask you a question. What is wrong with Obi? Like for what? No. For what he's doing as a.
No. What he's saying is the front office didn't make those mistakes, and it still, Isaiah, the front office did not make all those other draft picks you're talking about. This front office did not make those draft picks. No, we're not saying that. What we're saying is, he's talking about the mistakes that the Knicks made in the past.
Yeah.
This front office made none of those mistakes.
Yeah, no. I know.
And they've only had one top 10 pick.
It's irrelevant.
So
it's irrelevant.
Everything else has been in the lower parts of the draft. Everything else has been in the lower.
You could have got a guy that give you 15 and 8 on 46% shooting and like almost 40% from 3. I'm just saying.
So let me ask you a question.
He plays defense.
Listen.
It's off and on. Halliburton is good, right? But is he really changing life? Like, let's be honest. Is he really changing life? I
think. You want me to be honest, Mark? If he was on the Knicks, we probably would have won like 40 to 42 games.
If Derrick Rose wasn't injured, with the way the team is, we would have won 40.
We probably would have made the playoffs. Everything goes on to Randle.
Yeah, if Derrick
Randle was bad.
If Derrick Rose didn't miss over 45 games, the Knicks probably would have won 40 to 42 games. So
yeah, but Randle was bad. So it's like
of course, I do agree with you. Of course, if D Rose was playing, but I'm talking about having a permanent point
I
guard
dig what
position.
you're saying. I dig what you're saying. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, but for us to go anywhere, our players have to play on. We have to play on a cylinder where we have no mistakes, bro.
We get it.
That's not normal, though.
We dig that. Let me get to the phone call because we keep going off, any kind of topic, going all in a whole bunch. Whenever you got Mark and Big Bubba on, that's what's gonna happen. Caller, you live. Tell me your name and where you're from,
That's called
please.
great content.
What's going on, Sim? What's going on, panel? It's Nick in Jersey City.
Nick, what's going on, man?
Doing well. Just listening to what you guys are talking about, and I feel like you look at the Eastern Conference between seeds 1 and 6. It's like 2.5 games each. You know what I mean? How many games separates 1 through 6 right now?
1 through 6. You mean?
Or 1 through 4?
1 through 4. 2.5 games separate 1 through 4.
And we did pretty good against the Celtics this year. We did pretty good against the Bulls this year, and I don't know. I think we're pretty close, closer than our record indicates. And some guy came out with some stat the other day, and it was like without Kemba, the Knicks put out statistics. The amount of offense that they put out was the equivalent of like a 45-win team. Now I don't know what that means or not, but I just feel like they very easily could have went that way this season. They very easily could have won 43, 45 games. They very easily could be a 6 seed right now. It didn't happen. Rose got hurt. Randle played bad, but I don't think they should panic this off season. And if they're going to go big game hunting, they got a guy that they're playing tomorrow. I don't think he's going to be playing, but I think Bradley Beal comes much cheaper than Donovan Mitchell.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's got a better attitude, and I think that's if they're going to go for that guy. I mean, if you could get Beal, and Randle gets his mind right, and you still have RJ, I'm rolling with that team for the next 3-4 years, and I'm fine with it.
Okay, so check
let's
this out,
see what we
Nate.
could do with it. You know what I mean? I mean, at some point we got to say, okay, this is our core, and we're going for it.
Okay,
especially if you keep some of the kids too.
Yeah.
So that's just my opinion.
Yeah. Check this out, Nick. Just along the lines of what you're saying, the Knicks had 4 games this season where they were up by 20 plus points and they lost.
Yep.
Right? Let's say that they won those basketball games. Automatically, their record goes from 35 and 45 to 39 and 41. Big difference already, right? Because now you're still in the play-in chase. And now, You lost 2 games to the Orlando Magic. So let's say, you know what? Let's just say you slip up and drop 1 instead of losing 2, right? You slip up and drop 1 to the Magic. That takes you right there to a 500 record.
Right.
Right off the bat. Just with those 5, looking at those 5 games right there where the Knicks should have won, like literally should have won, 20-point leads, and then the Orlando Magic. Right?
Sim, they had 4 more games that they were up by 15 and lost.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
a lot of games like that.
Yeah. I mean, literally, they had put themselves in position to win. And if they pull those basketball games out, yes, this team looks very different. And it's probably in the play-in. It is what it is. They are who they are. They're a team that this season was not able to get those wins. So I'm not sitting here saying, oh, they're better than their record. Because no, they are what their record says they are.
Right.
And their record says that they're a team that can't pull out those wins. Imagine if they learn how to pull those wins out.
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying. Like last year, they were 10 games over 500. Now they're 10 games under 500. We got a 500 ball club that's super young, right. and we don't have a closer, and it's like everybody wants that superstar point guard. There's maybe 4 of them in the entire league. Like they don't exist. Like if we're not gonna, we got IQ. We like IQ. We got McBride. Rose is coming back next season. And it's like, maybe if we can't get a guy who could be a quote-unquote point guard, let's go out and get another wing scorer who could close. Let's go get a guy who can lead the team in scoring. Let's go get a number 1 without trading Randle or RJ, which was the initial strategy from last season, because we have all these we got 8 kids, and we got like 5 picks, first-round picks in the next 2 years.
I hear.
Let's cash in these assets. Let's go get a guy who could put up 28 points a game, and pair him with RJ, and pair him with get Randle right, bring Rose back. Try and keep maybe 4 of the kids, 5 of the kids if we could. 3 of the kids.
Wait.
We can make a big trade and keep RQ and Grimes. You know what I mean? And RJ, and still be a good team going forward. So
do you think Brad? Do you think Brad comes to the Knicks? Do you think he would?
Probably not. But I mean, this is what Worldwide West came here for. This is what Leon Rose came here for. They got to go do their job. Let's go get people to come here and within, you can make one move and we could be the Boston Celtics of next season or the Chicago Bulls of next season. I think with one trade. One trade and then some things going right. And, and that's not rebuilding on the cheap. That's like this idea of like constantly like adding kids. Nobody does this.
The Memphis Grizzlies.
Nobody builds this way. At some point you got to cash in. You got to go get, I don't want Bradley Beal and Donovan Mitchell to end up on the Celtics and the Miami Heat in the next 2 seasons. You know what I mean? Which is what will happen if we sit on our hands.
Okay. Hey,
hold on. Wait, can I say something? Because I'm kind of confused of what you're saying. So you want a number 1 wing option, but you don't want to trade nobody.
No, I'm willing to trade. It depends on the guy, who we're talking about. I'm willing to trade. We got eight kids, right? I want to keep RJ, so that leaves 7 kids that are tradable. We've got 5 number 1 draft picks in the next 3 years. So that's 5 picks, 5 firsts, and 7 prospects. And that's the talent that I'm looking. That's the bait that I'm putting out there for a big trade. I'm not going to panic and make a panic move, and go out and make a deal that doesn't help us. I like the kids. I like what we're building. But if there's a guy out there who's 27 years old, 28 years old, and he's putting up the equivalent in points. He's putting up 27, 28 points year in, year out. And he could come in and play next to RJ and Randle and be the number 1. I'm happy about it.
That's the question.
But, it probably won't happen. I'm just saying, like, that should be the way that they're thinking about it.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing with me, right, and this is the tough part is that, Mark, I was just about to go on that point. I don't think a lot of, again, this is me. I don't think a lot of people want to play with Randle.
So
I really don't.
But hold up. So Mark was getting ready to ask that question, but just a few minutes ago, you said you know, when you were talking about DeMar DeRozan, when you were talking about DeMar DeRozan, you was like, Randle gave the ball up to Marcus Morris. He'd give it up to DeMar DeRozan.
I didn't say that.
No, I said Mark said it. Because Mark was about to ask that question that you just asked. But you did say that.
Bill, no, hold on. It's different from Bradley Beal because he's leaving a team where he's not having no success. So I'm looking at Bradley Beal saying, I'm going to see if I can go play with a better player. He has an opportunity to play with a better player.
No. But you were getting ready to ask the question, will Randle, can a player like that play with Julius Randle? That's what you were getting ready to ask.
What about Damian Lillard? You brought up the Damian Lillard trade earlier, the Portland trade. What about that?
I'm looking to get rid of Randle.
Lillard's like 4 years older than Beal. You know? I mean, I'd probably rather have Beal at this point, even though Lillard's a point guard. I'd probably have Beal. I think Beal's a killer, man. You listen to Beal talk to Draymond Green on his podcast from a couple of weeks ago. It's just, to me, I think, maybe I'm wrong, I don't know the guys, but it seems like Donovan Mitchell might be a little bit of high maintenance. But look at the video of Donovan Mitchell talking about the things that matter to him in life on YouTube. He's talking about his watch. He's talking about his necklace. Then compare that to a Bradley Beal interview. I think Bradley Beal could come to New York, and he could be the guy that gets us to the next level, possibly.
Okay.
But
and I think he's going to come cheaper too.
What concerns me?
But you're talking about.
Hold on, Isaiah. What concerns me about Bradley Beal? You know, just because I live in the area, and he is kind of a guy that doesn't want to be in the spotlight that much.
Yeah, he would kill the New York.
You know what I'm saying? And so that's why I'm not sure he wants the New York spotlight.
Yeah, possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, and another thing too, I would say too. I mean that stuff. I mean, all interviews that. I mean, that to me, that's not a big concern. I mean, again, you're talking about Bradley Beal. He's like what, 30, and Donovan Mitchell's 25.
He's 28.
He's 28. Bradley Beal's still
Donovan
kind of young. No, Bradley Beal's still kind of young. He's 28.
I mean, he's a little older. I mean, it's the certain. I mean, two different personalities. I mean, he's from New York. He's gonna be a little flashy. That's how it goes.
Yeah, that's in your blood.
I mean, all he was saying is, what he observed. That's all. I don't know. I don't know about the guy.
I think he's got a good head on his shoulders, and I think chasing the point guard. You look at the way the Knicks play offense. Obviously, if they get a superstar point guard, they're going to change the way they play offense, which is what they need to do. But everybody on the team brings the ball up the court, and they hand it off to the center at the top of the key, and then they basically have four guys that are playing off the ball. And it's like IQ can do that. IQ can bring the ball up the court, hand it off to Sims or Robinson, and then play off the ball. Like if we can't get a superstar point guard, let's roll with IQ as a starter next season, and Derrick Rose as his backup. And when Rose goes down, we got McBride or we got emergency, whoever. If we start selling low for a point guard, I think that's a mistake. It's my humble opinion.
Okay. Hey, Nick, I appreciate your time and your input, man. Thank you for the call, and I'll talk to you soon.
Sam, can I respond to Mark real quick? So Mark, I know you don't want Randle here. A lot of Knicks fans don't want Randle here, but
I don't like his playing style. I don't like his playing.
I understand. I got you. I'm with you. I got you. Right? I understand that. But there's this notion out there from Knicks fans that Randle's completely untradeable, that we have to take pennies on the dollar for Randle, and that he's no good for any team or for any situation. And to me, I don't think that's true. My first proof against that is look at Russell Westbrook and look at his contract. This dude got traded 3 times in 3 consecutive years after he signed his deal with Oklahoma City. When everyone says that he has an albatross of a contract, he got traded 3 times in 3 consecutive years. That's number one. Number two, in regards to Julius Randle, and I think all of the trade proposals you have are valid, right? The Dallas one, I think is valid. Just got to, add some seasoning to it or whatever. Brunson, it won't just be him. It'll be some other players as well. And I think the Portland one is valid as well. But I think there will be a pick swap. But I like the Phoenix one, particularly if they know Ayton's going to leave in free agency anyway. Hold on,
Yeah.
Mark. Particularly if they know Ayton is going to leave in free agency anyway, and we know that Mitchell Robinson's not staying. I think this is a great opportunity for us to explore DeAndre Ayton.
You're going to pay Randle. How much you're going to pay? Because you're going to pay DeAndre Ayton like over $100 million, right?
I would pay him. I would pay him.
I'm looking at somewhere around a 4-year, $20 to $25 million range, getting to that $100 million. I would do it that way. That's what I would want to do for DeAndre Ayton. And I think it can work. You add a Cameron Payne to the contract. I think the money matches up. And I think Phoenix would love Julius Randle because now you're adding Julius Randle to a team that's already a contender, right? They're losing Ayton, but they're gaining
They
someone
play
like Julius
defense,
Randle.
bro.
I got you. And that's why Julius Randle will fit perfect in that system, because you have a guy like Chris Paul and Devin Booker handling the basketball, and you don't have to give Julius Randle the ball, or you don't have to have him, dribbling the ball up the floor. I think that would be a great system for him to go to. It's a smaller market, and I think he can benefit by playing with someone like Chris Paul. I think that, particularly if the Suns don't make don't win the championship this year, I think that move can take them over the top.
I forgot about
That's
Ayton.
just my opinion.
Yeah, I didn't know. I forgot about Ayton. I didn't think of Ayton. So that's a whole different thing.
The Phoenix Suns
But
winning.
my whole point was there's so many opportunities for Randle. We're not stuck with Randle's contract. There's so much that we can do with him because of the examples that I mentioned.
The Westbrook one, the only reason why he got traded because LeBron AD wanted him. I don't think if those guys didn't
Mark, he got traded 2 times before that, though. Before he even went to the Lakers, he got traded twice.
Understandably, but the thing was, you were still trading for a player that was still good. Like he was still, like you would have took Russell Westbrook, like you said 2 years ago prior to Randle. Would you? Yeah. So you have to look at it like that. But now I wouldn't touch Russell Westbrook at all.
Actually, to be real, and I'll be honest with you. Well, let me say this about Josh thing. I don't think nowhere near hell the Phoenix Suns are touching Julius Randle.
Why not? Why not?
Bro, they're winning 65 plus games and they're almost, I'm not gonna say guaranteed, but they're pretty much trying to be bound to the finals. I don't think they're gonna let that mess with their chemistry. They're gonna mess with that head.
But they're gonna lose Ayton anyway, Isaiah. They're losing Ayton anyway.
I just don't see them. I just don't see them going for Julius.
Well, they have a strong locker room. Let me get to super chat here. All right,
Julius Randle strong.
I mean, he's not Superman. They got a strong locker room, man.
Yeah, no, they got a strong
they got some strong leadership over there. Don't discount that.
Julius
Randle. Ivan Omar, thank you for the super chat. He said Julius Randle has unfollowed every Knicks player on Instagram and has deleted all of his Knicks pictures except for the one with RJ Barrett for the Slam magazine. It's over, Josh. From what I understand, he deleted everything, and he's only following 2 people now, right? That's from what I understand. He's following his wife and his son or something like that. That's it.
Look at his thing.
Yeah, I'm about to look right now.
He went through a haul of unfollowing.
So I mean, that's from what I understand. He unfollowed everybody except for his wife and his son.
What's his problem?
I don't know. Maybe he got maybe he has a new publicist.
Oh, I guess
Who knows? You know what I mean? I mean, the problem with things like social media is if I unfollow everybody because I'm doing something that's on my mind, everybody sees it, right? Everybody sees it. That's the problem with social media. It's public. Everybody sees it.
One thing, Sim.
Just see what's going on.
Social media really be their life, and they really take how they feel and actions on there. So it's like when you're judging someone's social, it's like you're judging their action in real life because people are so infused with their profile and with their stuff. And
some people.
Yeah, but majority of this world right now, everybody's so infatuated themselves. Everybody's a whole bunch of individuals, and they do how they feel.
All I'm saying is some people, you can look at their social media and determine, them, but not everybody. And I'm not saying either way about Julius Randle because I've followed him on social media, but I haven't followed everything he said or hasn't said.
To be fair. He did unfollow his wife too. So
I followed everybody.
All right, so I'm not gonna take this. I'm not gonna take this with too much of a heavy heart.
So that's what I'm saying. It could be any kind of, his publicist. Hey, let's clean up your social media to do this, that, or the third.
Damage control.
Damage what? He didn't. I don't think he posted anything on social media.
No, what I'm saying is
that
he's getting rid of all the memories of this year of what he went through. So that's what I'm saying. Like damage control for his being. You don't have to go look at those pictures with him with the Knicks jersey.
Yo, to be fair, he doesn't really post a lot anyway.
That's what I'm saying. He's barely posts. He barely posts on it. So
RJ barely posts.
Who knows what it's all about?
Yeah, but they still be lurking on their Instagram account.
Oh, no, they be lurking. You know that. They be lurking.
Who knows what it's all about? But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I do want to remind you, all right, there's a link at the top of your YouTube chat so that you can let us know if you want to attend the draft party in Atlantic City. So please
We're
make
gonna
sure
be
you
live,
get yourself,
baby. We're gonna be there live.
get yourself on the list, all right, so I can reach out to you.
Josh not going again.
It's about 2 months away, ladies and gentlemen, and I'd be able to say what I'm going to say if I didn't have somebody trying to talk over me or talk under me. You know what I mean? But it's going to be dope. Have a basketball game out there. At least that's in the plans, as long as the weather, doesn't jump in the middle of the plans. We're going to have a basketball game out there. Of course, we're going to watch the draft. We'll be doing a live podcast from there. It's going to be dope. So make sure that you get on the list so you can be one of the first people that I send the link to, so you can go ahead and get there with us. It's going to be fun, man. In Atlantic City, June 23rd. All right, that's the night of the draft. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and put this. There you go. I put it in the chat as well. And, of course, it's tagged to the top of the page. And it'll be in the description of this video, too. But I'm going to get up out of here, folks.
I said one last thing, Sim, real
Go
quick.
ahead, Josh.
Jay Boogie wanted me to give a big shout out to Sim for hitting him up about the DC game tomorrow. So he said, big shout out to you for doing that. Or not
You seen Jay Book Obi song? Obi video? He made an Obi video.
Yeah.
That was fire.
Yeah. But ladies
Sim,
and gentlemen,
I want to say one more thing, Sim.
go ahead.
I'm gonna pay for your meal tomorrow. I guarantee.
We're going to find out. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm up out of here. I appreciate your time. I don't know what happened to my intro, so it's not going to be an intro. We're just going to
That's the Nick.
out of here and be done. We're out, ladies and gentlemen. Peace.